Hi, today I want to talk to you about the amazing benefits that you get from making your own chicken stock or bone broth. And really, it does take a lot of time, but most of that time is just sitting on the stove. It's really easy to do. You get to pick your own ingredients. So today we're going to jump right in here and get the stock going because it's going to be on the stove for 6 hours and it's going to spend some time in the oven at first too. So this is something you have to make when you have the day to dedicate to it. But this chicken stock is going to last me 8 to 9 months. So I think one day for all of this chicken stock is worth it. Now I have 3 pounds of chicken wings. I really like chicken wings because you get a lot of bones, and really bones are the most important thing for your chicken stock because that's where you're going to get all of your collagen from. And then I like a little bit of meat and fat too because that fat has benefits and that meat adds flavor. Chicken thighs are great. Chicken backs are great. Chicken necks are fantastic. So for me, I got chicken wings. And then I also got, now I know that some of you are going to go, whoo, chicken feet. But I also got chicken feet. Now I got my chicken feet from just really about 30 minutes away. Shake Family Farms have beautiful products. You do want to cut that first joint off. But these chicken feet are loaded. And when I say loaded, they have the most collagen of any of your chicken parts. And the collagen that you get from these chicken feet is going to boost your immune system. It is going to help with your skin, your joints, your bones. And if you, for young infants, collagen helps their bone development, their skin development, their joint development. If you have arthritis, if you have joint discomfort, make chicken feet stock and just warm it up in the morning and drink a cup. You're going to be like the Tin Man putting oil in your joints. You're going to be so glad you did. People are paying big money these days for those collagen things. And the way that those are made, they're not 100% absorption. You're going to 100% absorb the collagen you get from chicken feet broth. Now, do you have to use the chicken feet? Absolutely not. If you can find a nice source for chicken feet, then I say use the chicken feet. Now, it is not necessary to add tomato paste and roast your bones. I do, because this tomato paste is going to caramelize onto these bones, and that is going to add not only a depth of flavor, but just roasting your bones is going to add a depth of flavor as well. And it's also going to add a nice color to your stock. So I'm just going to go in with some tomato paste and toss this up. I have my oven on 500 degrees. I'm going to do this quick and fast. We're not looking to cook anything here. We just want to pincé this tomato paste and just get some color on our bones. And we're not looking for perfection. Just mix it up. And onto our sheet tray. I do not add any salt at any time to my stock. This is going to cook for hours. It's going to make it super salty. And personally, I like to salt my food as I go, and I'm not looking for salt in my chicken stock. So in we go. 30, 40 minutes. Now I'm going to do a handful of garlic cloves here. Smash your garlic cloves, and you do them first. You really want to let your garlic either smash it or chop it a good 10 minutes before you use it, because your garlic has that allicin in it that's really good for you. It's why people take garlic supplements. It's for the allicin. But it really needs about 10 minutes for that allicin to work its way out once you get it smashed or chopped. And that bottom part of the garlic, I always take that off because I find that it can get bitter. So I just like to remove that. So let's get these smashed and into our bowl here, and then we're going to move on to just your basic mirepoix. We have onions, celery, and carrots. If you have leeks, leeks are great in here. If you have fennel, fennel is great in here. So now a lot of people with their onions, a lot of recipes are going to tell you it's okay to leave your onion skins on, and people leave their onion skins on because they say it adds color. Well, we're kind of doing that in there already. And it's okay to leave some of your onion skins on, but this outer layer I peel off because this has been rolling around in trucks. It's maybe been rolling around in your produce bin at the store. How many people could have picked it up and said, nope, I don't want that onion. So for me, that outer layer, definitely I peel off. But the tops and the bottom is fine. Now you're all going to see recipes that tell you to finely dice your vegetables for your stock. But do not do this. Cut them into large chunks. This is going to simmer for 6 hours in your stock. And if you cut it super small, it's going to cook away. And it's going to pretty much just dissolve into your stock. And this is going to cause your stock to be bitter, and it's going to cause your stock to be cloudy. So, you know, I know these people are out there telling you to chop it fine. Don't do it. I've got about 4 pounds of meat, so I'm doing 2 onions, and I've got a good, it's not a full bunch of celery, but it is a good bit of celery, and these inner pieces are great. This tops, you really want that. Lots and lots of flavor in there, and again, this just gets great big chop. For my carrots, again, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 carrots, and I just took my vegetable brush and gave these a wash. You don't have to worry about peeling them. And again, we're just going a great big chop and into our bowl, and then we're going to do tomato paste in here as well. Again, we're just adding a beautiful flavor. It's just going to make this stock taste so much better. So, into my bowl, my tomato paste. I'm going to throw these in the oven with the chicken. Now, it's kind of early. I get this started early in the mornings because it is going to be on the stove for at least 6 hours. And then after that, I take mine down even more, and we'll talk to you about that later and what that does and why I do that. But for now, we are just going to get this into the oven and roasting. And while that is happening, I'm going to go get myself ready for the day because I haven't done that yet. So I'm having a cup of coffee because I get ready before my chicken and vegetables. So I want to take a minute and talk to you about those store-bought. You know, they've made it so easy these days with all the boxes of stock and the bouillon and the better than the bouillon. And this is why I don't want you to use those products. Let's start with the better than bouillon. So, as you see, disosodium isolate, corn solids, and 1 teaspoon has 680 milligrams of sodium in this stuff. It is really, it's just salt. And my next biggest one that I really, really don't want you to ever use, those jars of chicken bouillon or polo bouillon. I do not want you to use these. These are jars of chemicals. Here we go. This is the ingredient list for that. And I see people use this in recipes, and they just dump it and dump it and dump it, and it's just, you know what it does? It makes Big Pharma go, woohoo, I'm getting more customers. And that's what all of that's going to do for you. Now, when you talk about chicken broth or chicken stock versus, or any kind of stock versus bone broth. So stock is made from bones, mirepoix, and can have some meat and cooked. Broth is just made for meat and vegetables. Bone broth is then made from bones and vegetables, if you will. And if it's made right, it's actually kind of cooked a little bit longer, and so you get a more depth of flavor. So basically, chicken stock and bone broth, well, they're kind of like brother and sister. I mean, there's really not a lot of difference. They both have the bones, and so in those ones where you see all those things, and they mark it up, they have stock, and then they have bone broth, and the bone broth is more. It does not mean it's better. You still don't know the quality of the meat they have used. And then in those things you see, some of them have oils. They have salt. They have corn solids. Some of them have corn syrups. I mean, to find one that is purely meat, celery, carrots, and onions, they're expensive. So I paid $6 for my chicken feet, and I paid about $12 for my wings, and then we got celery, onion, carrot. So maybe, $20, $22 that I'm going to have in this stock, and I'm just finishing up my stock, and I've been making things with it so I can get my new stock in the freezer in October. I made it in October, and we're in September now. So this stock can last you a really long time. I can't tell you how many dishes you can make with this $22 worth of stock versus buying those, whatever they are, in a box, granulized or whatever. Just take the day and make it fresh yourself. So let's pull this chicken out and get it in a pot. I just love this pot. This is something I'm going to always find room for on whatever boat we're in. Billy threatens me all the time. He says it's his pot, but here's the thing. When we got together and we had this big yard sale, and we had 2 of these. So honestly, one got sold at the yard sale. I don't know if this one's yours or mine. But anyway.
Mine. I see my name on it.
You are so full of baloney. So I just love it because I put my little canning rack in here. I can steam. You can do your pasta. I do my stock in here because that way I just have to pull it up to strain it, and I don't have to pour it into bowls and strainers. So love this pot, no matter whose it is. It's never going away. So I can't wait for this oven. I'm already hot. I can't wait for this oven to come off. So we're going to dump our chicken in here. And you can see we got some juices there. I want to pour those in there. I don't want to lose any of that. And get our beautiful chicken in there. Yeah, I dropped a piece or 2. Luckily, it landed on the oven door. You'd probably say I should have some tongs, and I probably should have. But, why do things the easy way? So I'm going to use some tongs to pick this up off the oven door. And in we go. And then out with our mirepoix. And in we go. Next, we're going to talk about our water. Now, we're going to cover this with at least room temperature, if not cold water. And you never want to start your stock in hot water. Because as this starts to heat up, it's going to release the impurities in your bones. And those impurities are going to rise to the top where we can then skim them off. Now, if we started this with hot water, those impurities are going to come out get released too fast, and then they're going to incorporate in that stock, and they're not going to rise. You're not going to be able to skim them, and they're going to then make you have a cloudy stock with those impurities in it. So always cold or room temperature water. And then we're going to bring this not to a rolling boil, but to a hard simmer. And this is kind of the same thing like we just talked about. If this boils and boils hard, again, we can't, the impurities are not going to stay on top. We're going to get incorporated into that stock and make you have a cloudy, maybe bitter stock. So cold water, I never boil, but we are going to get it close. And to that, we're going to add some bay leaves and some whole peppercorns. And we're just going to keep an eye on that and make sure, that it does not come to a full rolling boil. We just want it simmering. Okay, so it's been a couple hours. I've been skimming, and I just want you to see how it's just a light little bubble. It's not a hard boil. And this is what you want to keep up. You can see I've got some foam there, so I'll go in and skim that off. Keep it nice and clean. And just don't overboil it. Hi, how is your day? My day has been spent here in the galley. I'm trying to leave town, going to Colorado to visit family and see my mama and stuff. So I'm trying to get videos in the bank so that I can post while I'm gone. And I just had this day today to do this, and of course it's hot. We got stock going and oven going, and the AC decides to act up. But it's just the way it is, right? So we have come to that time, and it is time to turn this off. It has really cooked down. I'm going to sit this in here so it can just keep draining. Now, I'm going to strain this through some cheesecloth, and I have a double layer of cheesecloth here, and you can see just how much stock that made. It's pretty amazing. You see the beautiful color? Isn't it gorgeous? Hot. Now you can absolutely stop here. You can put this in jugs and containers in the freezer. If you can can it. I freeze mine, and the reason I'm doing this in here is because I'm going to freeze a little bit like this, but for the most part, I am going to put this back on the stove, and I am going to reduce this by at least half, honestly, almost taking it to this really thick gel. And I call this my better than bouillon, because then I will be able to do like 2 tablespoons will be like 2 cups of stock. So that is my next step. Because I do that because I can do that in smaller containers, and it takes up less space in my freezer because I don't have big freezers on the boat. So this, put back on, I'm going to take this, reduce this by half. Now, the bigger your pot, the bigger space you have, the quicker this is going to reduce. But this is probably going to be a couple hours here. And then for this, how we doing? I think we're good. I'm going to let this cool down. And then I'm going to freeze this in 2 cup blocks. And that'll be for, if I'm making a big pot of soup, I'll have a couple blocks ready for that. But a lot of times, those 2 cups, if you're making risotto or whatever, work just fine. But you really, before you put this in the freezer, want to let it cool down. So you see just how much stock we have for $20, all natural. Let me show you my blocks. So I have these blocks. Now, they hold 2 cups each. So I'll put one of my vacuum pack bags in here and fill it up. And then this goes in the freezer. And then you open it up and take your blocks out. And then you have these nifty little space-saving blocks. Now, I am going to finish this tonight, and I'll get this in the freezer. So tomorrow I'll show you these, and I will show you. I mean, we're really taking that down to almost a demi-glaze. And I'll show you just how beautiful and convenient that is. So here we are. We're back to finish up this beautiful stock that we made. And can you see that? Now, this is the one, when it gets cold too, you can just kind of, if there's any left over fat on top, just scrape it right off. Now, this is the one I did take down, and this is going to make cups and cups and cups of chicken stock. And this is one from that first straining, and you can still see the gelatin. Now, this is what your chicken stock should look like when it's cold. It should gelatinize. This has not been reduced again. This is just from that very first straining. And I made my blocks, and so each of these blocks is 2 cups of chicken stock. And then once I do this, then I will vacuum pack this, and then this will be in the freezer, 2 cups chicken stock. Now, the beauty thing that I like to do is to take it down to this stage, because then I can either put it in my molds like this into the freezer, or I can put it in containers like this in the freezer. And this is also 2 cups of chicken stock. So you can just see the gelatin in there. So you can see just how beautiful and rich that is. So this takes up a whole lot less space. I can do a whole lot more of these. So I've got 2 cups of chicken stock and 2 cups of chicken stock. All I have to do, this is like your better than bouillon, and it's so much better than bouillon. And you can see just how much gelatin and how beautiful this stock is. So I hope that this helps you stop buying those boxes of chicken stock with things you might not know what's in there, be able to trace your ingredients, and just look at how beautiful this product is. Even if you live in a small space, do them in these little cubes, and they don't take up that much room in the refrigerator. And I've got, this is probably another more than 2 cups. This is cups and cups and cups for $22, and a beautiful product that I got the chicken from a local farmer. So I hope you start making your own chicken stock. I hope that you're inspired to really take your chicken stock to the next level and make it yourself. It's really easy, and it's so much better for you. Thanks everybody for being here. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up. It's appreciated. I'm going to see y'all later. Thanks for watching. See you soon.